Here in Chicago, Rick Pizzo, Stan Jackson, Howard Griffith, Nicole Auerbach, also part of the show today, joining us from New York. Nicole, the committee laid it out. The nation has said it all year long. The Big Ten has been, start to finish, the strongest football conference in the country this year. So as you look at the postseason, and for a third straight year involved in 10 bowl games, including 4 New Year's 6 games, what's out there for this league still to prove?
Just to continue to prove that it is the best team in the country. There are 3 parts to the regular season. You've got your non-conference season, you've got your conference play, and you've got your postseason. And there are lots of bragging rights at stake. If you think back 2 years ago, and the SEC had a really dreadful bowl season, you know, those comments and those takeaways linger the entire off season. So this is just another big opportunity for the Big Ten to beat teams from different conferences, get some more bragging rights, and all of this helps as you head into next season with respect and just a goodwill from the selection committee that you backed up the reason that so many of their teams were ranked so highly last year.
Obviously, all the bowl games matter. Yep. Some matter more than others. You win the national championship and you beat Alabama on the way if you're Ohio State, and everything else is probably gravy. You sweep the New Year's 6, everything else is pretty much gravy, regardless of what happens in that national championship game. But there are other players and teams that may not be playing for quite that much that have a little bit of extra motivation. I think T.J. Watt's a guy who, after being overlooked as Defensive Player of the Year, maybe has a little bit of an extra edge.
Well, he's going to have an attitude. You better believe that. I had a chance to spend some time with him a couple of weeks ago as they prepared for the championship game. And this is a guy that's all about football. And I know that there's going to be a lot of chatter, conversation around about what his decision is going to be, whether or not to turn pro. But I can tell you, he is as dialed in as anyone. He's not concerned about what's going to happen at the next level. I think he's going to be a terrific pro, but he has another opportunity. And this is a team that's really close, particularly that linebacker group. That's a tight group, so, you know, they want to go out with a bang, and I know that Watt is going to give everything he possibly can have in this game for them.
Did you ask them if they drank special milk growing up?
No.
You didn't figure it out?
Didn't ask that one.
You trying to bottle some up?
I got boys at home.
Stan Jr. and Stan the Third. Penn State may have some extra motivation. James Franklin said, "Committee, it's on you now." The committee had them 5th, so you have to think that the Nittany Lions, in a tough spot against USC at their home stadium out in the Rose Bowl, going to have some extra motivation as well.
Absolutely. I think you can argue that this team showed up a year early, one of the younger teams in the country. This explosive offense, the latter half of the season, is the reason why they're headed out to the granddaddy of them all. It's a big stage. Everybody will be watching. Had an opportunity to play in this bowl game. This is by far the best bowl game out there, even though it's not attached to the national championship. So if you're thinking about Penn State and these big plays that you see right here against a dominant Wisconsin defense, they've got an opportunity to win this game against USC, one of the hottest teams in the nation, and put themselves in position for a top 5 point next year. And I think that's what's significant for them going forward. The fact that you can come into the preseason next year poised to be in a playoff if you win all your games is special.
They say polls don't matter, but if you're preseason top 5, you have people believing you at the start of the year, unlike this season when Penn State had to make people believe in them late in the year. Yeah. We're very surprised to see the news develop in Bloomington. Kevin Wilson out, Tom Allen in, and now you have to think the Hoosiers maybe with a little bit of extra motivation against a ranked opponent in their bowl game, trying to prove that Allen is the right guy.
Yeah, and I think it's significant. You know, Tom Allen taking over. We obviously saw what he was able to do on the defensive side. Now he's trying to infuse the other 2 phases, whether that's special teams and offense in the entire team. Listen, I think he's going to do a really good job of getting guys motivated and ready to go. I think this is also a time where he's on the road, at least until Monday, as far as trying to get some of these commitments locked up. And I think that's going to be a big part of what he's going to have to do moving forward. Because I will say this about Kevin Wilson. He was truly dialed into what needed to happen as far as the type of personnel that he needed to get into Indiana to really make that offense and defense go. And yeah, you can make the argument that he struggled at times as far as personnel is concerned on the defensive side, but that's a part of the game that Tom Allen now has to be able to pick up.
Yeah, I think you could argue that the last win they got was the most important. Right? Getting to a bowl game this year, now knowing that they're switching the coach, getting a trial run with 30 days of practice, bringing recruits in, maybe figuring some things out. Who do you want to call plays offensively? I think it's a big deal for him moving forward.
Say what you will about Kevin Wilson. I'm sure more news will develop over the coming months. Fact of the matter is, he led